All right, good morning, everyone. I'm here again with Lyle, freed from the Shores Treatment and Recovery Centers in beautiful Port St. Lucie, Florida. Hi, Lyle. How are you this morning?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you again for being here with us. I know our members always appreciate your insights and your help with everything. So thank you for that, as always. So with the holidays coming up this morning, we kind of wanted to focus on something giving hope to the addict's mom for the holidays, preventing relapse, how to, get through the holidays. Holidays can be stressful for anyone, obviously. There's too much to do, not enough time, all the money, family dynamics, and all of that. So if you add to that dealing with a loved one that has a substance use disorder, that just throws a whole nother level of stress on there. So I was hoping this morning, first of all, you could give us some tips, I guess, or helpful information on how, if we in our life that's dealing with substance use disorder, maybe if they're still in active use, it would be different, or in recovery, kind of if you can cover both sides of it, but how we can help them best navigate the holidays.
Yeah, I first think, well, I want to look at relapse prevention. Dealing with somebody who's in active use is a whole different story. There's some crossover, but so you got to remember that the holidays are typically a time of celebration, family gatherings. We sit around tables filled with food and sometimes drink. It's sort of the American culture that we're celebrating. And in the mind of someone in recovery, they had traditionally in their past, celebration and commiseration were all one and the same. A good day is a good reason to use. A bad day is a good reason to use. So being as that it's a time of celebration, there's that thought there, that possible trigger. The other thing that I think that happens is you're around family, you're under the microscope, and there's a lot of pressure on as well. There's a lot of triggers. If they're new in recovery, then chances are their last X number of holidays had all been spent in use. And so there's these reminders of missed family time and when they had to go hide and run to the bathroom and all those other things they did. So given that we're coming into Christmas and New Year's, all very big celebration times, I think we want to talk about how to approach the loved one who's in early recovery and understanding that substance use disorders really are broad in their reach. In other words, you may have a loved one who was using opioids, and the family, and I've heard it so many times, well, you can drink, right? I mean, that wasn't your drug of choice. And the answer is no. Alcohol is another drug, and it affects the limbic system. It hits the brain and the receptors in much the same way as other drugs of abuse. And so knowing that is off base. Also understanding that they need safe activities. Again, if they're coming back home, they've been away, they've gone to treatment, they've developed a recovery community somewhere else. Well, they come back home, they may not have those same types of supports. And I'm not saying that the family isn't supportive and doesn't want to support them. I'm saying they're back in an environment that had traditionally and historically been negative for them, negative influences, friends, quote unquote friends that they used to run with. So keeping them safe in that regard and understanding that they may be hesitant to go out for fear of running into some of those people, or worse yet, that they may not actually have a healthy fear of those environments and may put themselves at risk. I think we also need to realize that they need things to do. They're used to going to meetings. Are there meetings available in the area? They have whatever types of supports they had. And now they're around the family and they're not really sure how to act sometimes. So some healthy activities, helping set up, helping decorate, helping prepare the meals, those kind of things that can keep them around the family and engaged, doing something productive. I think all of us, in recovery or not, want to feel that we have a purpose and a use. Fulfilled, I think, is extremely helpful in the relapse prevention.
Exactly. Yeah, all of those are really good points. Do you have any advice, I guess, for family members that, it's always a struggle when you have someone who's in active use? Do we invite them around by the family? Are they cut off from the family? And I'm not saying any way is the right or wrong way. It's, it's your choice with your family. But do you have any, maybe just advice if we're going to have someone that isn't necessarily ready to get help yet, but we still want to include them over in the family, or maybe they live with us, how we can kind of help them navigate the holidays?
Sure, it is a case by case kind of situation, but and the real trick is loving care with the boundaries that are healthy. So, a lot of people are, we're going to cut you off if you don't go to treatment today, and I get that, and sometimes that may be appropriate, particularly if you had a tendency to over enable. But the real trick is to always do whatever you do with love. It can be a stern love. You can be honest and open about that you're hurt. That this hurts me, and I just want you to know how I feel. I think that we have to remember that most people with addictions are highly intelligent individuals who also just want to be loved and a part of. I think that's the human condition. We all want to be a part of, and we all want to be loved, and we all want to be regarded well. And when we're in our addiction, that's really hard to even see in ourselves. So if we have to address it, and I think we do, then we do so openly and honestly. We respect their intelligence level. The difficult thing is talking to somebody while they're actively inebriated. It's very hard to have a rational conversation with somebody while they're intoxicated. So finding those moments of clarity, or at least semi-clarity in between, the blackout drunk or passing out with opioids or whatever it may be, is probably prime. Certainly, the family gatherings can be a great opportunity for this. So telling them they aren't a welcome around the family may not open you up to that opportunity. However, you may have other family members to consider, other children and other members who are maybe in recovery, that you may say, we'd love to have you here, but you got to be straight. You can't show up polluted. We just can't have that. So again, respecting their intelligence level, because most of them are very intelligent, being open and honest. The other thing I would say is talk to them first privately. I wouldn't necessarily, unless you've already tried to talk to them privately, sort of jump them with that family circle where they feel closed in and, like an animal trapped. We want to give them that leeway to be open and honest with us. So start individually and privately. If the family does decide to get together in a intervention style technique over the holidays, I would recommend, again, approach it with love and mention that we're all in this together. This is a family disease. Even though that may be the one person that's using, we all need to get well together, and mention your willingness as a family to do your part. When we put all of our fingers and point them at that one person, again, there's a lot of pressure on somebody who's already conflicted and confused. If we instead say, listen, we're in this with you. We want to get well with you. We're willing to go to Al-Anon, Nar-Anon. We're willing to go to counseling. We're willing to do the family sessions. We're willing to do our part in this to help us all get better together. It sort of takes off the load and says, listen, we realize that you grew up in our family environment. You can't have one person using in a healthy family. And that's not to condemn the family or blame them. It's just to say that we've all gotten sick together. Let's all get well together. That relieves a lot of the pressure on the individual to feel like we're a team, and rather than they're in the spotlight and we're about to break out the rubber hoses.
Yeah, that's
really that would good. Be my first approach. Yeah, I mean, again, everybody's different, so it's kind of difficult to say exactly with each family. But most of the families have an idea, and sometimes it's that elephant in the room. Don't be afraid to talk about it, and even ask them, do you want to talk about this with anybody else? Give them some decision making in it. Granted, they're probably not going to make the best decisions while they're high again, but time around family is a time to let them know they're loved, but loved with boundaries.
Exactly. I think that's always the most important, whether it's the holiday times or not. And then just one last thing. I know in the groups you talk a lot about, self-care for yourself as a mom and as a family member. And I think that's always really important too, but maybe especially during the holidays. Do you have any advice for that, like how we can remember to take time to work our recovery? Like you said, we're all having to heal together, and whether our family members in recovery or not, we have our part to do, and how to stay on track with that for the holidays.
Sure. And there's something we talk about called the bombshell theory, and what that really means is I can't change anyone but myself. I'm the only one that I have control over, and even that's limited. So caring for me first. And the reason I say bombshell theory is because as we take care of us and our nucleus, it's likely to infect others. So if you're having a combative relationship, the only one side of that relationship you can control is yours. So to just focus on and be cognizant of taking care of yourself and your attitude and your well-being, you may find that simply by changing yourself and the way you speak, the way you think, and getting a little serenity in your life, and serenity is lack of agitation. So learning not to let things agitate you that are out of your control, the whole serenity prayer. And that will allow you to change your outlook. And oftentimes, and this is where the bombshell theory comes in, that begins to affect the people around you. So as I change the way I interact with those around me, they tend to change the way they interact with me. They begin to see me differently because I behave differently. So when I take care of me and I'm healthy, happy, and whole, people around me tend to get healthy, happy, and whole as well. Now, how to do that, again, depends on the individual. If you have a tendency to micromanage others, let them go. If you have a tendency to beat yourself up and blame yourself for everything, recognize your limits and what you can't control and let go of it. If you're a person of faith, give it to God and trust Him that He is who He says He is and will take care of it for you. Not always the way we want, but always take care of it. And that's the whole purpose of a higher power, is recognize we have limits and there's certain things we can't do. That's one of the first steps to self-care, is recognizing your limitations and living within them.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for all of that. Just to kind of wrap up then today, do you have any books or blogs or any kind of websites that you use, or maybe do you want to, maybe leading up to the holidays, you can email them to me and we can get them out to the groups and just give other avenues for people to get information on how to, stay helpful through the holidays, protect themselves,
Absolutely. I've got a list of stuff, that I give to parents and that we work with. And a lot of it is some Al-Anon material. There's some great devotionals for self-care, as well as for codependency. And then there's some other information that I have. I'll be glad to get that to you, and you can put it out as a list for all the moms. And we're talking about putting together in May a retreat for moms. We're trying to find a way to get an educational retreat where moms can go away and get pampered, kind of do some of that self-care, but also learn some of the lessons of, how to live with somebody who's either in recovery or in active addiction, and some of the best tools they can have. A sort of an educational / pampering retreat that we're looking to do in the mountains of Georgia. Probably we're looking for the best venue and trying to make it very cost affordable so that it's a getaway. I know the reason is, quite frankly, because of the Addict's Mom. I've seen several moms ask, why isn't there something for moms? So I got to thinking, why isn't there? So we're working on that, and I'll keep you informed as we get it developed.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And thanks again for being here. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks, Lyle.
Sure thing. Talk to you soon.